I remember once when I lived with a wicked baby father, while we were having problems which were overwhelming for me, a lot of cheating, lying, and cruel treatment. One night while he slept soundly, I laid awake in the dark contemplating my life. With only a glimmer of moonlight peeping in, I was, as usual, alone in my worries. I heard a voice speak in the darkness. The voice was my own, but the audio did not come from my mouth. It was around Christmas time, and Christians around the world had energetically invoked the energy of the Christ consciousness as they do every December. The Christ consciousness was floating all around the world, and New York was no exception. With me being Christian-minded at that time, I was not immune to its visit. The question I heard my voice ask was, "What can I do to help me and my children?" The voice that answered told me, "Get up and read your Bible now." The voice was clear and present and emanated from the air. No way could this be God, could it? I did not imagine it. Being spiritually young and Christian influenced at the time, I could only call that voice God. All the same, I did not know what it was, and so I drew my covers over my head and slid closer to the wicked baby father, my eyes darting from left to right in the dark. When I became spiritually wiser, I realized that I indeed got a message that very night to the answer I sought. It told me to read the Bible because an energy had been invoked by Christians around the world and it was passing through. I was Christian-minded in belief and faith, so it was befitting for me to read the Bible, as the voice knew that that was where my faith laid. However, the voice I heard was not Jesus or God. It was a divine presence who perhaps was passing through or simply has never left me. I have not figured it out as yet, nor have I searched. Looking back to the times when I was spiritually and chronologically younger, I realize that there has always been a genderless voice, a presence, that has been with me ever since I can remember. I have written about it here before, and frankly, I become misty-eyed when I remember times when I was going through hardships and receiving maltreatment from the wicked baby father, his women, his family, and my own family. It was this presence, spirit, that would point the way of life, my own life direction to me. He or she is that guide. We all have our noun, non-physical beings who assist each human being on their journey to Earth from birth to death transition. Class equals glossary link, greater than guides that are here with us to guide us along life's pathway, and there are more than one. There are 3 main guides with each of us, and each guide has their own family. In other words, a guide that is assigned to you, has many other non-physicals it also travels with to assist your life on Earth. When I discovered the noun, Yoruba, the Yoruba people are an ethnic group of southwestern and north-central Nigeria, as well as southern and central Benin. Together, these regions are known as Yorubaland. Source, Wikipedia. Class equals glossary link, greater than Yoruba philosophy of noun, Ori. Ori is a Yoruba concept of one's inner consciousness. Ori literally translates to head in Yoruba. It is also considered to be a divinity, the one that leads and guides you throughout your life. It is possible to come to Earth with either a very strong Ori, head, or a very weak Ori, class equals glossary link, greater than Ori, one's head or inner consciousness. I began to understand that apart from our guides, which are not ancestors, but high noun, a spirit or being without physical form, class equals glossary link, greater than non-physical beings, we have an even higher divinity, the Ori. Our Ori can be viewed as our own personal God, creator. Yes, our Ori is our greatest divinity, assisting us here on Earth. It is our noun. The higher self is an aspect of your spirit who is older, wiser, and has traveled this Earth, other planets, planes many times and has acquired light and advanced knowledge, class equals glossary link, greater than higher self. I will write on Ori another time, fascinating subject. Apart from our ancestors, we have many different guides who function in different ways in our lives. There is a special one who I have never seen, and I have no idea if it has masculine or feminine qualities, but it has been with me ever since I can remember. Here is one of many stories I have of this special guide. I have written about this before, but in the interest of this post, it bears repeating. There was a time when I was under heavy spiritual attack. Noun, oba, a name taken from Jamaican patois to denote a spiritual practice often used for negative outcomes against others, but can also be used for positive outcomes. Other similar words practices are juju, voodoo, witchcraft, native doctors, etc. It is the manipulation of energy using physical tools and incantations for a desired effect. It is a mysterious and unstructured form of spiritual practice, as often practitioners do not have specific spirits, deities, beings that are assigned to carry out the abia work, which leaves the work to be contracted by any spirit, wayward, malevolent or otherwise. Class equals glossary link greater than abia. I was about 22 years old when an enemy threw a sword, a spiritual blow, at me, and in the middle of the night while I slept, something woke me up. The person had no form, but he, although I do not know the gender, I will describe it as he, was there close to me in the room. The voice I heard was like an imprint upon my brain. Look at the polecat coming, it said. I was able to see through my bedroom door into the balcony, which was off my living room. An animal that looked like a mountain lion, not a polecat at all, but certainly dangerous, had broken the glass door and was stealthily creeping towards my bedroom. It was then some male forms, as tall as the ceiling, formed a chain around my bed. The animal came into my room and tried to poke its head through the ring of beings that banded together around my bed, and became frustrated when it could not penetrate them to get to me. The animal turned around and left. I watched it walk away, amazed rather than frightened. The voice then laughed softly and said, "It came as a polecat and now leaves as a polecat." This meant that the power the beast had come with had been cut down. The spiritual blow had failed. This same genderless voice has taught me a lot over time, and I know how to differentiate it from the ancestors. My noun, ajibe, a society, or family, belonging to an astral realm. On Earth, human beings can have an egbe, in other words, a society or family in which their spirit belongs, which will often disturb their lives on Earth due to contractual agreements between the human spirit and his society within the realms, a contract made before coming to Earth. It is possible to become initiated into egbe in order to break or nullify these spiritual contract agreements. Note, here, initiated, simply means to use ritualistic measures to contact and remain in contact with one's egbe, reverse the contract and have it now work positively for the human in his/her life on Earth, and placate the egbe in the realms. Here are some helpful posts to better understand egbe. Egbe, our heavenly astral mates. Egbe, a fascinating interview. Egbe, spiritual pacts and initiations related. Astral mates. Class equals glossary link greater than egbe. See post on egbe, or even my ori. This particular being speaks to me while I sleep. It makes its presence known, but has never allowed me to see it or even recognize its voice as masculine or feminine. If you are a psychiatrist, noun, the practice of seeking knowledge and clarity of the past, present, or future through spiritual means. Reading types can widely vary but are often sacred objects, elements of nature, or persons. Related, divination. Class equals glossary link greater than reading this post. To hell with your diagnosis. Now, I want to introduce you to someone you may never have heard of, but they are with you. Someone who is quite familiar with you, although you may not know of their presence in your life. Someone who loves you as much as your God loves you, but you don't know them. Someone who knows you more than you know yourself. That someone is you. Yes, you have a doppelganger, a double, here in this world and in a world unknown to you also. Image source, right opinions, come according to the Yorubas, the placenta of a newborn baby must be buried properly with certain leaves and money, though not all Yorubas will do it this way, to ensure that you will have a respectful child. The spirit of the placenta will now go back to heaven, or its abode in the universe, and guide the child properly. When a mother has a child, the baby comes out and the placenta comes after. In our physical world, the placenta's function to the fetus the mother is carrying is very important. But in the spiritual world, the spirit being attached to the placenta, after the baby is born returns to heaven, i.e., The world where the spirit of the baby comes from, and it watches over the child from there, is its double, its twin. In other words, each and every one of us has S noun. Your spiritual double is your counterpart that which looks and acts like you but does not have a physical form, therefore it resides in the realms of spirit. Every human being has a spiritual double, but every human being has an EGB, see EGB, class equals glossary link, greater than spiritual double. You have yourself here on earth, and another you in the world from whence you came. However, because we have doubles, it also means that in the physical world, if something bitter happens to you, expect something sweet to follow it. If something sweet occurs, also expect something bitter. The baby, sweet, and the placenta, bitter. Several months ago, I was told through the noun, Ifa, from the Yoruba tradition, Ifa is a divination system used by the Babalawo and or Iyanifa. The oracle is owned by the Yoruba god of wisdom, Orunmila. Here are some posts on IFA for further understanding. The IFA divination process, class equals glossary link, greater than IFA oracle that my spiritual twin was angry with me. I was shocked. The IFA went on to explain that all my life I had always bought everything in twos and for a while I had stopped. My heart kicked into high speed because IFA told the truth. All my life I had always bought everything in pairs, and people would criticize me for it or tell me that I was a spendthrift. I had no idea that through my Ori, I was already aware of my twin, spiritual double, and so I took care of her, him, it, what while it protected me, alerted me, and saved me many times. It accompanied me on my journey to the world and then returned to watch over me. I felt elated at finally discovering what I wondered about for years. Truth be told, I have always felt as if I had a twin, but I told myself it was a fantasy. Spirituality in its prime and potency is so fascinating. All that is happening to us in an invisible world, but is affecting us in the visible and material world is, to me, a wonderment. I see it like a little child looking toward the wintry sky, trying to see if the mythical Saint Nick would be navigating his sleigh with Rudolph in tow. During those very difficult years I faced, alone in the world, rejected and maltreated, and afraid of what would become of me, I spent most of my days in tears. I had only small children to live for and no one cared about me. But during those years, a song would play from somewhere within the universe that only I could hear. We shall know, as we are known. Nevermore to walk alone, in the dawning of the morning of that bright and happy day. We shall know each other better.